In 2004/05, Jose Mourinho's Chelsea built what many people still consider the greatest defense in Premier League history. 38 league games, just 15 goals conceded. Week after week, teams tried to break them down and failed. No matter who they faced, big teams, small teams, title challengers, nobody could score against them. And for over 20 years, that record has survived. But today, I'm loading up FM26 Mobile with one goal in mind: to create a defensive tactic so good, so frustrating, so impossible to break down that it beats Mourinho's legendary record. The problem is, in Football Manager, one disaster class changes everything. Either a red card, injury, or even one 99th minute mistake, and suddenly, the dream is over. So the question is, can I create the greatest defensive tactic in FM26 Mobile history? Or am I about to discover why nobody has beaten Mourinho's record yet? And honestly, I didn't think it would work this well, because after testing this tactic with Arsenal, things got completely out of control. Not only did we break Mourinho's defensive record, we conceded just 13 goals all season. 13! That's fewer than any team in Premier League history. But somehow, it gets even crazier, because this wasn't one of those boring defensive systems that struggles to score goals. We scored 84 league goals, finished the season with 100 points, won the Premier League, won the Carabao Cup, and then completed the treble by winning the Champions League too. So in today's video, I'm going to show you the tactic, the instructions, the player roles, and whether this might actually be the best defensive tactic in FM26 Mobile. If you're still here, you already know this is different. So go ahead, like the video and subscribe. You don't want to miss what's coming next. So, how does the tactic actually work? Well, the base formation is actually a 3-5-2, and at first glance, it doesn't even look that defensive. But that's where the magic happens, because this system is built around one thing: control. Out of possession, the team stays compact, aggressive, and incredibly difficult to break down. The back three protect the center, the wingbacks constantly track runners, and the midfield completely clogs up passing lanes. But the real reason this tactic became almost impossible to score against is what happens when we take the lead. Because in-game, I manually tweak the shape from a 3-5-2 into a defensive 5-3-2. And once that switch happens, good luck trying to break this team down. The wingbacks drop deeper, the defensive line becomes more compact, and suddenly every attack feels like teams are running into a brick wall. That's why we only conceded 13 goals all season. Not because we parked the bus for 90 minutes, but because this tactic knows exactly when to become defensive. Now let's talk about the player roles, because this is where the tactic really comes alive. Starting with the defense. The back three stays pretty consistent throughout the season. On both sides, I'm using two central defenders whose main job is simple: win duels, stay compact, and stop attackers from getting space in behind. But the most important role in the entire back line is the sweeper in the middle. He's basically the insurance policy of the tactic. Whenever one of the defenders gets dragged out of position, the sweeper drops in to clean everything up. And honestly, that role saved us so many times during the season. Now on the wings, I wanted balance. On one side, I used a wide midfielder to give the team more defensive stability and help track back. But on the opposite side, I used a winger. That's where a lot of our direct attacking threat comes from. So while one side stays disciplined, the other side stretches the pitch and creates overloads. Then we move into midfield, and this is probably the engine room of the entire system. The two box-to-box midfielders do an insane amount of work. They press, recover possession, support the attack, drop back defensively. They are literally everywhere. Alongside them is the roaming playmaker, who controls the tempo and links everything together. He's the player constantly looking for space, picking passes, and starting counterattacks the moment we win the ball back. And finally, up front, we have the perfect partnership: a target man and a poacher. The target man holds up play, wins aerial duels, and brings others into the game, while the poacher does what poachers do best: stay on the shoulder of defenders and punish teams the second they make a mistake. And together, they made this tactic far more dangerous than a defensive system has any right to be. Now this is where everything comes together: the team instructions. Because honestly, the formation alone doesn't make this tactic broken. It's how the team actually plays. Starting with the mentality, I keep it on overload. Now I know that sounds crazy for a defensive tactic, but because we already have so much protection at the back, it actually allows us to overwhelm teams without becoming vulnerable defensively. And I genuinely think that's one of the biggest reasons this tactic works so well. Now in possession, I keep the width narrow, the tempo fast, and the creativity expressive, which means the players constantly move around, combine quickly, and create overloads through the middle. the football becomes really aggressive, but still controlled. Now defensively, this is where the tactic becomes an absolute nightmare to play against. We use a mid-block with a balanced defensive line, so we're not pressing too high and leaving space in behind, but we're also not sitting deep inviting pressure. Everything stays compact, everything stays organized, and because of that, teams struggle to find gaps anywhere. The pressing is set to all over, while tackling stays on normal. I didn't want reckless challenges destroying our defensive shape with unnecessary fouls or cards. And the offside trap is activated. In the attack, we use early crosses, work the ball into the box, and play through balls. So depending on the situation, we can either hit teams quickly or patiently create the perfect opening. Passing focus is mixed. Passing style is mixed, which means opponents can't really predict where the next attack is coming from. Sometimes we go central, sometimes wide, sometimes direct. And finally, even the goalkeeper distribution stays mixed too. Nothing becomes repetitive, nothing becomes easy to read. And I think that unpredictability is exactly what made this tactic so dominant over an entire season.